Hello, everybody, and once again, welcome to another episode of Beyond Borders Australian Success powered by JICS Australia. And as always, we have got incredibly talented guests who gives us a real story of their real life and their journey in Australia. So today, we have got in our studio, hello, Sachin.
Hello.
Hi, Lakshmi.
Hi.
Let's give a little introduction to both of them. Sachin is Head of Australian Operations at Talentor Australia, Managing Director at Carrington Associates, and Lakshmi is Technology Leader and Senior Product Owner with Software at Scale. Hello, both
Hello.
of you.
Hello.
It's lovely meeting you.
Yeah, and as always, we have Aman Sethi, our Managing Director, JICS Australia. How are you doing, Aman?
I'm good. First one for 2026, so very excited.
Right. So, I believe that we all have a connection. We're connected with JICS.
Yes.
If I have to ask Lakshmi,
Mm-hmm.
this industry that you belong to is pretty known for migrants coming and contributing. Share us your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when IT kick started, I think India was crazy about IT. We wanted to rule the industry, etc. And when I was doing my college, yes, obviously that was my dream. And everybody's journey was to begin in India and then land somewhere, migrate to some other country and make wonders, build a beautiful life for yourself. And I had the same dream. So I did the same, landed into IT, start loving the job, and then migrated to Australia. I wouldn't say it's an easy journey, but then it's worth the journey. And it's great so far. Australia is great. Australia's IT concerns are great. And then the revenue that Australian IT companies generate is also great. So, yeah.
And Sachin, why don't you share us a little bit about your journey being a leader right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, first of all, thanks for having me, Aman and Priota. My journey, I came here last century. I keep joking about that. So I came on 6th of November 99. So it's been a century here. I came as a migrant and I came with a background of HR and recruitment and a bit of a technology. So I moved here and I struggled to find a job first 2 months because I came at the wrong time. And I said, look, probably the best thing is to continue my journey or the dream, like you mentioned, to go on entrepreneurship. So I started my own business without having any local experience. So I started a technology company and we were focusing on software development and consulting. So that's how I started my career here.
Right. Aman, what do you think about both of their journey? Is it something that is still relevant? And you're handling a lot of migrants right now. Same confusion or same sort of, initially we'll say lack of experience.
Yeah.
But later
Yeah.
on, far more confidence as they go.
Yeah, 100%. The first job or the first path that you're going to take is often the hardest path. And then once you overcome that, things become a lot easier. You understand how the country works, how the people work, and you find your way. But that first part, whether it's going to take you 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or some people 18 months to get that direction set, that's where the challenge is. And that's where we come in. So we try and help you shorten that time frame to take that first direction and get yourself going in the right space. So yeah, definitely still the case at the moment, and the challenges are still there. There's not enough being done for people who are coming in to educate them, coach them, guide them in terms of how to actually acclimatize quickly and effectively into the country. So yeah, definitely still the case.
Right. Coming back to you, Lakshmi, once again. We keep on, listening to a lot of fears that AI is going to take over. AI is going to take over our jobs. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I wouldn't want to put it in a way saying AI is going to take over our jobs. I want to say AI is going to help us do our job better. AI is going to be your personal assistant. AI is going to help you grow because it's going to give you time back. So you can grow, you can learn, and you can be into places where you wouldn't have been before because you had to do all the menial jobs that AI is going to do it for you now. That's how I see it. And there is a new skill set that everybody has to learn to be the boss of AI, if I could say, to make use of AI, do your job, if I could say, and build AI that's going to help you even more. So that's my take on the whole AI, because as a product owner, I do use AI to do all the simple tasks that I would have to do manually otherwise, and make AI more robust by teaching it to do the job well, so it can do all the menial work for me, whereas I can just become more focused on being a leader. Yeah, that's my take on AI.
So you're saying that the industry should just adapt to it instead of fearing it?
Absolutely.
And anybody who's thinking of joining has got nothing to worry about.
They have got nothing to worry about. As long as they are fluid and they are ready to learn, I think it's beautiful. AI is amazing.
Isn't it the same regarding culture, work culture, or if we say that just coming to Australia and adapting to something?
Absolutely, right? So I think the quality of being adaptable to something new could be language, could be people, could be culture, could be new technology. So as long as you're fluid enough to imbibe it and appreciate it, I think you're going to shine in Australia.
Right. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to be in product, in tech?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the advice that I just gave to one of my friend who is looking to move into product space from technology space is use the knowledge of your technology to your best to support the product and build it. So you have a different perspective than a normal vanilla product owner. A, and B, because you have the ability to see a different sample set, because you're a migrant, you've seen people using things differently. You can bring that in on board and you can help building products, which is going to help people much more than just the vanilla product. So that's my take on it as well. And when you're doing this, ensure that you're bringing in the flavor of AI. So you're more comfortable with AI and you are teaching it to help us. And then you're helping yourselves to learn more.
Right. We do have someone in common, right? And we hear about her a lot. Patricia, Aman,
Yes.
what do you have to say about your, I think, professional relation with her company?
Yeah, definitely. So Lakshmi is here, obviously representing Software at Scale. They're one of our key clients and someone that we've been working with for the past 18 months. So Lakshmi, do you want to tell us a little bit about Software at Scale and the
Absolutely.
wonderful things that they do?
Yeah, Software at Scale is a wonderful company. It's homegrown. And I know the people working there, they're close to heart. And it's an amazing culture in the company. Software at Scale is bringing in more AI development in-house. And then they are trying to celebrate AI, obviously, which means we are going to be on top of the tech. And we will obviously engage people who are interested in AI, who want to be on top of tech, who want to deliver, who want to take pride in their work. So that's Software at Scale. And that's what we do there, like hit the ground running, achieve things, make things better to what it was before.
Amazing. And Aman, how are we part of their amazing progress, I would say?
So we help businesses with visa advisory services, obviously. So we've worked with Software at Scale on the standard business sponsorship and sponsoring of some of the employees and so forth. So that's been a very fruitful relationship, and we're glad to have them as a key client of ours.
And how did it help them particularly?
I think, look, in terms of the current workforce, a lot of times what happens is you might hire someone, they're very talented, but their visa's running out, and you want to retain that person. So I think that's where companies will come to a firm like JICS and come to us to help them map out a plan for that employee. Now, whether that's a shorter term 482, a longer term 482, or helping them towards permanent residency longer term with the 186. So we help businesses end to end in terms of mapping out that journey, providing a global mobility solution, and some of our clients, they need. There's a big shortage in Australia of some skill sets, and we help them with even sourcing from overseas and coordinating with brilliant partners like Sachin from Talentor and collaborating on projects to make sure that we can provide a holistic solution for our clients.
So you mentioned about global mobility, right? Global solution. Lakshmi, we asked you earlier. Would love to have your opinion on that again. If you could elaborate, like what is your idea about this global solution that Aman just mentioned about? Why does a company need to be global?
Yeah, cool. So why does a company need to be global? That's an interesting question, because we do see that when a company is global, you get talent from different ways of walks of life, A, and B, you can collaborate with people who can bring in different ideas to the desk, as well as there is a different skill set that each country would possess, I believe. As India is very good at their tech, Australia is good at their marketing skills and sales, which I think they are really good. Yeah. So it is like you can learn from each other and you can benefit off each other's skill set. And obviously, the more global it is, the more opportunities you generate. And
a company also benefits
and
from
and the more money you can make, obviously.
That's ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate point. And everybody, it's a win-win situation for all, I would say. Yeah, it's a good ecosystem to build.
So we know software at scale is doing great things and has experienced, I think, rapid growth from what I know. So can you tell us a little bit about that and some of the things that are happening there?
Yeah, sure. So software at scale, it started with, I believe it's just 2 or 3 people a couple of years ago. Now it's grown to 100 plus, 150 plus. And they have won Deloitte Award twice in a row. And it's not easy to come by to a company who is not doing great. So it's a great company with great culture. And the attitude of hit the ground running, solve the problems, leave the place in a better place than it was, has made it achieve this.
Awesome.
So, Sachin, why don't you give us like a little insight of yourself, your world, what's going on in your industry?
Yeah, look, it's a lot happening. I mean, I got 2 hats. I run a recruitment business, global recruitment firm, and also the director of a technology company. And what we used to have a strategy 12 months, now we can't even have it for a month actually, because every day there is some changes happening. What you're doing overnight, there's some changes, and then it just completely changes the way you're operating, the way you're selling and kind of thing. So we have to be really on the toes to really deliver what you're promising to the customer, whether it's a technology business or the recruitment business. It's a challenging time as we see what's happening globally in terms of hiring, in terms of cost cutting and all that. So people want the best talent to work for them. There is always a competition. There is always a real tight situation for getting good talent. And Australia is a good destination for people to work here, but also there's a challenge for getting the right visa, and people get frustrated. And that's where we need to have a right partner to work with our customers, and that's where we always come to JICS, for example, for immigration.
Right. Aman and Sachin, you guys have been working for the last 3 years, I believe?
Yes, that's right.
So what is your experience, you would say, working with Sachin?
Look, Sachin, working with him is great, whether it's a more formal setting or some informal drinks catch-ups that we have once in a while. So
Talk about cricket.
and other things. So yeah, Sachin, I think we've got a good business relationship and friendship outside of that as well. So it's been fantastic working with him, and we collaborate on some projects as well, which is fantastic because, he's a specialist in what he does. We're a specialist in what we do, and having that.
And there's a very deep down link, right, between the two, like recruitment and migration agency. How do you see the link?
Look, the link is definitely there, and especially for companies like Sachin, where he's looking at the best talent not only in Australia but globally. He needs to be confident that, for example, he might find the best talent, but that person, for one reason or the other, is not able to come to Australia successfully because it could be something in their education, their experience level. It could be the country of passport that they have, right? That makes it really difficult. So
maybe something personal, like they have a family.
Yeah, and sometimes there's even things like, they might have had some sort of issue in the past with, their police record or something that's there. So from a recruitment agency's point of view, they need to make sure that, yes, they identify the person, but then that person is successfully going to become able to come to Australia and set themselves up. And that's where we come in, where we are slightly different to a lot of companies out there, where we will look at ad hoc situations for our clients and do a preliminary assessment for them to make sure that there isn't any red flags and the process is unlikely to break down later on. So I think, and that comes from a understanding of recruitment, which is my original background before I started the business 10 years ago. And I understand how important it is for the recruiter to be confident of the person that they're recommending to their end client. And that's why we do that additional work that a lot of firms don't do.
Can I add something? Yeah. Just on the spot, because when I met him a couple of years back, and I thought he's not just another recruiter, another immigration lawyer kind of thing. And we started discussing, and then because he comes from the recruitment background.
Yes, he mentioned a very important point.
So that he understands what the process looks like kind of thing. The second thing what I really got impressed with, he says no. because I gave him a profile. I said, what are the chances? And he said, it's not going to happen. And I like people or companies who say no,
Straightforward.
because then I'm not basically, playing with somebody's career kind of thing, giving them false information and all that. So that's very important. And another example that, he asked, what's the plan for this family? Do they just want to come for work visa and go away? And I said, no, they want to apply for PR as well. And then he kind of advised on that as well, because it's a journey, right? Somebody comes on a work visa and then their ultimate plan is to have a PR. And if there are going to be any gray areas or anything, he made it clear from the beginning. And I said, okay, this is a good person because he understands the process. He comes from the recruitment background, and he also knows the immigration law as well and team as well. So that was a good combination.
Right. And mentioning about global talent that we keep on
Yep.
talking about, and especially you are in a place where you have to continuously look for global talents and then make sure they fit into the industry. How well do you think global talents are fitting in Australia? How well are they fitting into the culture, the work culture? What is going on?
Absolutely. So look, as a part of my the global executive firm, we work with a lot of European companies out in Australia. So they are mostly German, they are from Sweden and Switzerland and other countries. So a couple of things. One is that, having the right experience in that domain knowledge. So for example, it could be a mining industry, it could be agriculture, it could be supply chain or whatever. And that's one thing. And the second thing is the culture of Australia. So you just can't bring somebody from overseas and become a managing director of a local company who does not understand the culture and the environment kind of thing. So find the right talent is very important. And that's where sometimes, companies give us so many detailed requirements. We want somebody with the agriculture background, somebody with has got dealers management experience, somebody has got this and that. It's a big wish list. On top of that, they won't expect to find someone with the cultural thing. Now, German or European culture is different than Australian. I'm not saying good and bad, but it's just a different culture.
It's just different, is what
yeah,
it
that's
is.
right. So you need to understand and gel well with that, especially with the senior person like a managing director or CEO position. You are leading a team, so you have to have a right person for that one. And that's where, we basically find a talent from the global context to get person for that position. And this is not like a 1 year, 2 years. This is like a long-term person that they are hiring.
Right. Aman, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think all of those points are relevant. Sachin, one thing I wanted to ask you is obviously you're involved in one or two key AI projects with some of the big firms out there that you've talked to me about. So the communication that I'm hearing is that people are still figuring AI out at the moment, whether it's it's good for some things, not so good for others. And some companies are trying AI for everything, but then pulling back. And some are using AI and finding it really successful in some areas. So I just want to, as a subject matter expert, I want to get your view on where we are on the AI journey at the moment.
Absolutely. So look, this is a lot happening, as we know. AI is the buzzword at the moment, right? And another problem is that everything is powered by AI. So you need to understand whether it's really AI or it's not AI. Because it could be rule-based engine, but companies are just like a shining toy, or it's an AI kind of thing actually. That's one thing. The second thing, yes, we're using, and automation has been happening for last 200 years. The machineries have been there for last 200 years. So there's nothing new about that. Even the technology has been happening last 30, 40 years kind of thing. But AI is the myth. A lot of people are getting scared. Oh, it's going to take away my job. No. It's going to help you to do your job better. So I always give an example of a tradie. Tradie used to do hammer and nail. Now they got a drilling machine. Has a drilling machine has replaced the tradie? No. It has actually helped the tradie person to do his job better and accurate and cheaper price.
Save time.
Save time, right? And accuracy as well, actually. The same thing, AI tools are there to help you out actually to do your job better. A lot of time, like for example, I'm an accountant. I worked for 2 years in the industry, and then I'm doing the same job. After 2 years, I'm getting bored with that and I want to do better because I got experience now. So if AI is going to take some regular
Loads
job,
out of you.
yeah, exactly, and I can focus on the better job. That's what is going to help me. If you see from that lens, then AI is a magic. But if you see that it's a threat, then it's going to be a problem. But on the other hand, a lot of companies are just misusing it. It's AI kind of thing. So you find both
Awesome.
problems. Yeah.
Brilliant. And you, of course, came here many years ago as a migrant. And any key things that have happened in those years, like any key challenges, anything that you found was out of the ordinary? Any stories you can share with us?
Absolutely. Look, I came here with 2 bags. Didn't know anyone in this country, and I didn't study here. I didn't do any post graduation here. I didn't
How old
work
were
here.
you?
Sorry,
How old were you when you came here?
23.
Okay, there's hopes, guys. 23.
And didn't have a single contact. And I said, I don't have any visibility in the market. Nobody knows me, and I don't know anyone out there actually. So if I were to be successful, whether it's a job or it's a business kind of thing, I need to know people. And the chosen field was the technology kind of thing. So what I did is I started networking, and I keep saying that to everyone. Networking is the key thing, whether you do job or you do business. Actually, you need to know people from a different part of the industries as well. And one of the things that I have learned and noticed actually, the lot of migrants typically mingle with their own community. And if you want to basically grow and groom yourself, you have to go out, get out of the comfort zone. You don't want to, I'm not saying that you don't stick with your own country friends, but if you want to grow, then go out and learn from others as well. And that's one thing that I did. I started building networking. I went to various networking events, like I was there every second day, even now as well, through various channels. But that really helps me to develop as an entrepreneur. And today, any field that we need to work, especially with the recruitment high end, it really helps me to do my job better. So that's the one thing. Networking is the key thing.
So, as you've heard it, a guy in his early 20s started believing in himself, which is number one. Then he started networking. He looked into multiple ways to make a living here, and he realized that the most competitive and I would say successful path was tech. Yeah. So research, networking, believing in yourself, that's the key.
Yeah. And Australia is a great place to be. It's a great place to be. They give you chances. I remember like the first time when I got the opportunity, and I told the customer that, look, I'm going to deliver this solution. I'll call you on Friday. If you don't like the work, I won't charge you. I'll walk away. And Friday 2 o'clock when I called him, said, not a problem, we'll continue on the project. So he gave me the chance without having any history. So it's a great place if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to try out.
Yeah, I think it's about, working hard, taking as many shots as you can.
Yeah, that's right.
You might get rejected 99 times, but the 100th one will say yes, and then away you go from there.
Yeah.
So as Aman mentioned, some Oscar-winning speech that has been told earlier, not his own speech. So believe in yourself, and then believe the fact that Australia is the place to be, as Sachin has mentioned. Sachin, thank you so much for being part of this podcast. We, I think, loved having him as a colleague, as a friend, and also as a guest today.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Priota and Aman, for having me here.
Yeah, he's been a hard man to catch. We've tried to get him here a couple of times, but he's always traveling around the world doing his thing. So it's good to have him.
Right. So all the best, and we'll see you again in another episode with another special guest sharing their story of their migration journey in Australia. Have a good day.